Hello once again and welcome back to Egypt. In today's video I am exploring Siwa in the far west of the country, only 50 kilometers east of the Libyan border, isolated desert town here, which is culturally and geographically separate from most of traditional Egypt. And I took an overnight bus here from Cairo. It leaves from Abd El Monem Riyadh station at 10 p.m. every night, and it takes 12 hours to reach Siwa. So around 9 a.m. in the morning, you're going to arrive. 240 Egyptian pounds, which is decent value, just over 10 pounds in total. So right now, I am on the rooftop of my hotel or guest house where I'm staying, Al Babenshol. I'm going to show you my room briefly, and then head out and start exploring the town and some surrounding areas. The room I'm staying in here at Al Babenshol guest house, in a desert style, really cool decor. Seating area at the entrance, and then up the stairs to the bedroom. Wooden shutters and even date palms used, and you can see the mud brick and clay used. The bathroom just here. All of this for 541 Egyptian pounds per night, and that includes breakfast as well. So very good value for an authentic Siwan room at the center of the town, connected to the old city. Leaving the guest house now to see Siwa for the first time. I'll be coming back later, as it's actually attached to Shali Fortress, which from the 13th century onwards is where the modern day town of Siwa was based from. Originally it was at the site of Aghurmi, which is 4 kilometers east of the present day town. I'll be walking there right now, although if you do want to explore it by yourself, you can also rent a bike to do so. Onwards, and then I'll show today's Siwa a bit later on, after dark, when the markets come alive and the sunset from the fortress here. As I walk along this road, you can see the vegetation flourishing on either side of it. Siwa has over 300,000 palm trees and around 70,000 olive trees, all sustained by over 300 freshwater lakes. Pretty impressive. Some dates just hanging here as I go along the quiet road. Some of the houses of the village made from bushes, and like my hotel room even, palms of the trees, mud brick buildings that you see everywhere, light colours. Oracle Temple, Coronation Hall of Alexander. After the half an hour or so walk, I have arrived in Aghurmi village, the original location of Siwa before it has since expanded to a few kilometers down the road, where its town predominantly resides. And the reason for it is because of this, mainly. The Temple of the Oracle, a legendary temple in fact, where Alexander the Great was coronated, crowned son of the god Amun. Built in the 6th century BC, it was a symbol of the town's wealth, dedicated to the god Amun. It is 50 Egyptian pounds to enter, and just before I go in, look at that backdrop. All the vegetation and the beautiful rock behind it in the background. The mud brick ruins added at a later date, and what looks like a mosque because of the minaret surrounding the temple structure, which is just here. The oracle, what remains of it, we can tell because of the stone that this is the ancient Egyptian temple, and perhaps as I walk through, this might be the very spot where Alexander the Great was coronated, son of god Amun and king of Egypt. Alexander the Great, one of the most famous military generals and leaders of all time, supposedly came here once arriving in Egypt, all the way to Siwa, to be crowned under the priests at the time. But the legend of this temple goes back further than that. Actually, in around 525 BC, when the Persians took control of Egypt, they came here to destroy the oracle. Legend has it that under the Persian ruler at the time, King Cambyses, he sent an army of 50,000 men strong to come and destroy the oracle at Siwa. The army left from Thebes, which is modern-day Luxor, until they reached Farafra, but then they had a long march of open desert, 325 kilometers, to undertake with no shade and no sources of water. As it goes, they were never found. Some say they were buried in a huge sandstorm, but we don't know, and there's been no evidence to this day, despite expeditions looking for the lost Persian army. All because, perhaps, of the prophecies of this once great temple. Perhaps one day desert sands will shift and we'll find evidence of the lost army. But until then, it's fun, I guess, to believe in the legend of this temple that was once so powerful and so prominent in the ancient world. The ruins of the Temple of the Oracle today, standing higher above everything. And the stat I mentioned earlier about the number of trees in Siwa, perhaps this view really brings that home. Almost as far as the eye can see, you have the colour green bursting out. Apart from on this side, in the very distance, the salt plains running into the distance. So I managed to hitch a ride with a friendly local who took me back to my guest house here in Siwa along that road, and I'm now going to follow behind my hotel to Shali Fortress. Mud brick ruins today, which are one of the main things to see in town, and it looks really cool. Architecture unique to this part of the country, something you won't find in too many other places in Egypt. Now inside the fortress, where hundreds of people used to live after it was built, and there was a wall to separate outsiders coming from the desert to the residents of Siwa. What fabulous views of Siwa, the town, the oasis revealed in all its glory, 360-degree views during the sunset, the green vegetation all over in every direction, and all the mud brick houses, beautiful, the rock colours, and Siwa Lake in the distance over there too, providing a blue backdrop amongst the combination of the bustling town in the sunset, open rooftops, washing hanging, incredible, and the sun disappearing over there. I guess you could also come here for sunrise. It would of course be coming from the east. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this sunset, soak in its remainder, head back down and show you a little bit of the town following this. Having come back down from Shali Fortress's sunset viewpoint, I am now going to show you around the center of Siwa, its markets and general vibe after the sunset prayer once everything opens up again. Because Siwa is quite touristy, although not every visitor to Egypt really ends up here, it is popular with a certain niche of tourists, and there are lots of gift shops catered to tourists because of that, and you can pick up all sorts of things, jams and honeys, and of course the dates, different spices and nuts, but also clothes. And right next to my hotel, Alba Ben Shal, there are some pretty nice looking clothes and bags and scarves like the one I'm wearing. All of them look as if they are handmade by locals. Eye-catching little place I can see here. All these beautiful rugs. How cool is this? Cushions down there too. You can see here all the olives. As I mentioned earlier in the video, 70,000 olive trees in Siwa. Something to take back with you, different parts of Egypt. And of course all the dates. Look at that. Bakery. Freshly charred chicken here on the street. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Politically, Siwa was incorporated into Egypt, except it's always been physically isolated, being so far away in the west of the country. And it wasn't until the 1980s that a road, even connecting Siwa to Marsa Matruh and effectively the rest of Egypt, was actually built. A nice, colourful looking fruit stall here with just about everything: sweet potato, cucumber, peppers, pomegranates, carrots, bananas, pumpkins, I can see. So they can grow it all out here in the desert. While strolling around Siwa at night here, I thought it interesting to show you the only mud brick bank in the world. Take a look. Lo and behold, this is it. Bank du Caire. And I should mention, the only ATM for a long way. So bring plenty of cash if you come to Siwa, because this is your only shot. Now come back to the guest house for dinner. Look how cool it looks, lit up at night time here. Very atmospheric. Hello and welcome back to Siwa. Today is another day and I am finishing this video at sunset, so plus around 20 hours from the night time yesterday, and I'm going to head into the desert nearby in Siwa. I found a guy here at a gift shop who has a pretty decent vehicle to get us over the dunes with and take me to a cool sunset spot. So that's the plan, and show a little bit outside the town here before I finish the video. Wow, so we have gone further into the desert than I expected. The car is just there and 3 people with me. Look at the beautiful dunes behind me. The sun is gonna set very impressively, I hope, in the next few minutes. Look at all the sand, completely unspoiled, and music playing all behind me.
Hey.
Nice.
Welcome to Siwa.
شكرا
Welcome
حبيبي.
to Siwa.
تحت هنا تصفح على السفر من فوق.
بالله عليك ما عندكش ستيبن؟
ما عندناش ستيبن ولا؟ في كمبروسر ولا مفيش كمبروسر؟
ما عندكش.
حتى كمبروسر ما عندكش.
ستيبن كان عندي ستيبن.
So my driver is about to ride up all these huge dunes right here and show off his skills. Let's hope he doesn't drive off and leave us here. Parked up for the final time and watching the sun disappear, as is a favourite pastime of being in the desert. The guys there just preparing some tea and a fire with the bushes they've gathered. Unfortunately, I will not be able to stay here the night as I'm taking a bus back to Cairo from Siwa, as time is a little short here in Egypt, but anyway, now's the moment to enjoy what coming to Siwa is all about. So here we have the ribe, which is, I hope I pronounced that correctly, a version of labna, kind of, you have it with dates especially, during Ramadan too. Big sweet date. First, bite it off. It's sour like yogurt, almost like cheese. Interesting combination for sure.
كده كده الناس مش هتفهم اي حاجه، بس انا عاوز لغتكم. هو يصور دلوقتي ماشي زي ما احنا نحكي دلوقتي، نحكي ايش نقلبها.
طيب هم سمروك ها انت هم الصبر حبه لان تادي لان ايش نقصد سوي نسوا اخي
نسوي خلاص
رايب شاتيني سوداني
اللي ما راح بننساه.
امريكا تبقى كان نستشف حب البرادنا اخي وهني
تمسي صح
برادنا يبقى حبه
تمام.
كان كتير كان قلبه
الاول الثاني الاول وخلاص.
لا الأول تلف النقص من كمية.
خلاص ماشي.
So what you saw there was Siwi in action. For those of you who don't know, Siwi is the language, of course, of Siwa. It's a branch of Amazigh, and most people speak it as their first language, not Arabic. And most Arabic speakers, I'm guessing, could not understand a word of what they just said.
تفضل.
شكرا. You saw him pouring the tea there, and initially the sugar in a glass, and then pouring the whole teapot into what is about a third of the glass full of sugar, and then moving the liquid between the pot and the glass again to make it clear. And now to taste.
Oh, nice.
I joked yesterday in Siwa that it's almost like a dessert because it's that sweet, but there's no doubt about how good it tastes. It is now dark here in the desert, currently using my iPhone light to film this outro. Siwa is an incredible place, so much to see inside the city and outside of it. So one more video coming from Egypt. I'm going back to Cairo and then taking a flight to Sinai. Stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.